That was awesome. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us. And thank you to our producers for these amazing series. We're going to go ahead with the Q&A. I think we have Olivia Baptista with us and Jonathan Chuby. I would love to invite you up to our virtual stage. And also, just to everyone, we hope you enjoyed watching these. These are definitely just the tip of the IFT network iceberg. There's tons and tons and tons of really amazing original indie content. So please check out the app available on iOS and Android. And do I see Jonathan? Is Jonathan here?
I don't think he made it.
Oh gosh, okay. Well, Olivia, center stage for you.
I should be here. Can you guys see me?
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, there he is. Hey.
Yeah, sorry. My camera
so good to see you.
doing something funky.
And everyone, as I'll moderate the Q&A, and as we go along, if anyone has questions, please put them in the chat, and I will go ahead and ask our guests on your behalf. It was good to see Clyde. So guys, I want to start off by asking both of you, I have a writer friend that loves to say that all writing is in some form autobiographical, and whether it be a small portion of the story or the whole thing. Does that ring true for you guys? Is there a portion of this, either a situation, a relationship that somehow was inspired by your own life and experience?
Sure, I guess I'll go first. Yes, so Growing Nowhere sort of came about after Christina and I had both moved to Los Angeles. And as I am a New Yorker at heart, and she is a tried and true Australian, and to just like be in the LA atmosphere and learn like what the hell is life like here, we decided to document our actual experiences as two young 20-somethings trying to figure it out. We also comedy because we had last met on a sci-fi web series that I had written, and we just wanted to do some comedy. So we got a bunch of our friends together. Every episode is sort of one location, standalone. They almost feel like sketches of weird encounters we've had since we've been here. Everybody's a life coach. Everyone's got 15 day jobs, and just sort of rolling through that. And so it's all loosely based on our actual experiences here in LA.
Love it. Love it. John?
Very nice. Yeah, I actually, oddly enough, I actually had a ninja roommate for years. And no, I didn't. Our show's not based on reality in any way. Yeah. Oddly enough, I do have Jeremy, who plays the ninja, actually has no martial arts background whatsoever, but I actually come from a fairly extensive martial art background. But yeah, the show is 100% fictional. It's something we just came up with. There's parts of the show that resonate with aspects of our lives, such as Jeff's best friend Darren is actually a physiotherapist in the show, and that's kind of what I do for work outside of film stuff. And so some of the jokes in through that, we originally had him as an accountant, but we both realized we didn't really know much about accounting, so we changed some characters up to suit things that we actually know more about. But the show's pretty goofy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
And also, as indie producers and an indie producer myself, and obviously you guys, this is true in all four of these actually, you end up wearing a lot of hats. So what to you, was that a blessing for you? Was that something difficult to deal with? Did that present a certain set of challenges for either of you? Olivia, do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. I prefer it because I feel like, especially as as content creators, which is more what we are than one singular thing, I like the burden of if something goes wrong, I know it was probably my fault. Like I just didn't have the right person, or like I didn't trust someone enough. And I also love when you get it right and it makes you look better and your project look better, and it just sort of makes it such a breeze. we had it wasn't this series, but a different series that's on IFT that we worked on, Here We Wait, that I also created. We had a really hard time finding an editor, and Jess Green, who I think is here in the room, was recommended to us by Clyde, who was in After. He played the father in After, and that was like the perfect synergy. And then the post-production teams on Growing Nowhere, After, and Here We Wait are all the same people, except for the editors. But the music, the composers, the sound designers, they're all the same people. Because once you find in that indie network people you love and trust, we all start recommending the same people to each other. And it's so cool to watch these credits run and see so many of the same names, because it just builds trust, and it just shows you how small and how tight-knit this environment and this network is. So that's what I love about it. It's like, oh, I know I can contact anyone here and get a name when I need it.
Exactly. I totally agree. And I think that that's one of the coolest things. It's like, even though, as artists, we know the field is huge. There's massive, there's just millions and millions of people that do what we do. And yet it seems like such a small world when it comes to indie film, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, you end up seeing those same names. And I'm even watching the credits here tonight, it's like, oh, like obviously, like, you worked on two of these, and it's like definitely a theme at IFT and beyond, that people, you go with what you trust. And once you build that trust, it's like, that's work begets work. And that's really sort of the name of the game. John, how about you? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, no, totally. For us, we were fairly up far north in BC in Canada, and me and Jeremy definitely knew the most. A lot of our crew was fairly new into the industry and people that we were training to do the project. So me and him pretty much did most of the like heavy work. Jeremy he would do more of the special effects editing. He's a better editor. And then I was doing a lot of the production work and making sure that we were getting the locations we need and everything else. As well as, oddly enough, in the episode we aired today, Jeremy and I drew all of the animations for the opening animation. Yeah, and we had an animator that was hired to take our drawings and do the animation. And we learned after doing the opening credits that, we assumed he would take some of our drawings and then kind of, finesse them and make them not go directly to what we drew. And when we saw the finished product, it was really good, but he literally drew exactly what we had. And so we were like, oh my God, we have to make sure we take a lot of time doing this next time. So, but yeah, definitely wearing lots of hats. I always prefer, my favorite aspects are directing and acting for sure. I always think acting's like the funnest part. And then, directing's great. Production is the most labor intensive, and they don't, producers don't get as much credit as they deserve. Because nothing happens without producers. So
yeah, we take a back seat.
Yeah, it's important though. Nothing goes without them. So
yeah. Olivia, I know you were saying like, content creator is just sort of one umbrella and you're kind of doing all of it, but do you have a favorite aspect?
I won't touch directing. I'll say that. I have I can't, that's like too much responsibility. I draw the line. I won't touch directing. I can't see it. I have grown to really enjoy writing. I think, to get to be in so many people's heads and to really draw the arcs that then other people come to life. There's been I think on all of the series I've written, there've been moments where a scene doesn't finish on day one that I'm also acting in, because I just find myself so lost in seeing these people from my head actually come to life. And then I kill the take because I'm not even in it. I'm just like watching. So and I think writer me feels an immense amount of pride and like gratitude to see that come to life and better than I envisioned. It's like, oh my God, who knew?
That's amazing. I'm not a writer. I'm a producer, actor, and sometimes director, but I'm in awe of writers. I really, hats off, because honestly, anyone that's producing indie content is a hero, but writers, I'm just like, it blows my mind. So bravo. What have been, on your journeys with these series, what have been for you guys some of the highlights? Any particular screenings or, anything that's happened along the way? John, you want to start?
Yeah,
Either
yeah,
way is
right.
fine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Go,
Yeah, either way.
John, take it.
For me, I think obviously I think a lot of people will feel this way too. When you've put so much work, into something, especially if you've written it too, you go from this, idea in your head to rehearsals, and you start seeing things come together, and then eventually you have this, finished product that was before you made it didn't exist, was just not a thing. And then for me, my favorite thing in the whole world is sitting in the audience and seeing people's first reaction watching it. And I feel like every creator probably feels the same way on this. And like by the time you're seeing it on the big screen or whatever, you've seen it a million times. So you don't even enjoy it anymore. You're just like, oh my God, like, oh yeah, I remember this. And you almost see more of the things that bug you than the actual overall picture at times. But then when you sit in a theater with people and you finally get to see it, half the time I spend just watching other people and seeing, what they react. And my favorite thing is always seeing what things hit and what things, like there'll be things that people pick up that you didn't think was a big deal. But then they love it, or something that you really thought would be like, oh, this is going to be the biggest laugh. And that's like, oh, that's kind of a chuckle, but then this was the biggest laugh. And you're like, oh. So that's always my favorite part, is just seeing other people watch it and hearing kind of what they say. And it also helps for your next project, because then you kind of learn, you're like, oh God, like that really hit well. This is a strategy I can use for this. So that's always my favorite interaction.
I love it. Awesome. Olivia?
I think with Growing Nowhere, because that was really my first foray into comedy, I think one of my favorite moments was like the first edits, like seeing the first time it was put together, and how much comedy is made in an editing room. Like that stuff's not funny without the right editor. And just to kind of be humbled into like, oh, that joke didn't land, but when we cut the timing the right way or cut away for something, then it got a laugh. So I think the editing process is always my favorite. I think I 100% believe films are made in the editing room. I think editing makes a great performance. Editing makes better writing. I so believe that. So that's my favorite part of the process. I guess externally with Growing Nowhere as well, we got to go to a lot of festivals, and I think we were really honored to have won like best female representation and just overall sitcom at the Minnesota Web Fest. So that just felt really good to know, like, oh, we're not diluted in like what we were hoping this would sort of convey as a whole series.
Right.
Other people saw that too, and that felt really nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica Green's giving a big high five from the chat room on the editing
She knows.
And I totally agree. Yeah, if anyone out there has questions for Jonathan and Olivia, please don't hesitate to type them in there. Well, yeah, and speaking of that, I guess kind of what's next for you guys? What else are you working on? Yeah, if either of you have stuff coming up.
Olivia, you start on this one. My kids are screaming upstairs. So
Okay, great. So I guess as an actor, I have a few things coming up, which is really cool. I just last week premiered in On the Verge on Netflix, and I have two more series coming up with them. One's going to be The Lincoln Lawyer. They're doing a series of it, and Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. I think those probably won't land until next year, but I'm in them. And I just found out today that I will be in this season of SWAT a little later on. So yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's excellent.
So that's cool. And then as a writer, I've transitioned into I write and develop television pilots now. So I've got one that actually Jay was helping me put the deck together, and it's all connected, and I've just been actively pitching. So we'll see with that.
Great. Just a really quick plug on that. Anyone that's watching, if you need a pitch deck, call Jay Cruz.
Call Jay Cruz.
No.
That's sweet creative.
John, how about you? What's coming up?
Yeah, I've been focusing a lot on writing. With the pandemic, I put a lot of my camera gear away for a little bit, and I work. Filming's always one of those things. I work in the medical field too, part time. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put it away for a bit, just kind of focus on that. And so I've just been focusing on pitch decks, writing material, and whatnot. My next I have two bigger projects that I'm focusing on right now. One is called Duck Race, and it's about, it's kind of like a National Lampoon family comedy, and I'm really excited for that one. And then I also have a horror anthology show, because I tend to write horror and comedy really well. So I've been doing a lot of those, and the pandemic has been great inspiration for horror, so I've had new ones every day. So the horror anthology we have is like a bunch of, short horror films. We have about 35, I think, in total right now that are sitting there kind of written and ready to go.
Wow.
We're in a few smaller network talks right now. And I'm actually waiting on one, so we might actually get that one off the ground soon, but we're still in negotiation, so we'll see. And then the Duck Race one is a passion project based off of something that happened to my dad when he was around my age, actually, but then spun with a comedy thing, and I'm really proud of that one. So been fun, but I'm itching to get back behind the camera or in front.
Yeah, I believe it. But gosh, if anything out of the past 18 months, has been a silver lining, it's all of the art that's coming out of it. And, the time that we all had to sort of sit and think and write and create and prepare. So
yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Good luck with all of that.
I actually have a funny one too, where right before the pandemic kind of fully hit, we were actually shooting a 5-minute horror short as a proof of concept for the horror anthology that was based off of a fictional virus in a pandemic situation that I wrote 5 years before. And it was super, like, when it started happening, and it's one of the darkest things I've written. So we were kind of doing it, and I was like, no, we can't film this right now. This is an omen. So we actually put it on hold, and we're actually filming it in 2 weeks from now. So we've put it on hold the whole time, and now, things are going well enough. I'm like, okay, I think we can do it now. So we're actually going to be filming that next, which is kind of funny, funny timing, but yeah, kind of interesting.
Weird and creepy, crazy timing.
Yeah. It's dark too, like too dark at times. So we'll see. We'll see how this one's received.
No such thing. No such thing.
Wow. Jessica Green said in the chat that she's available to come to Canada and run around the woods screaming if you need.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Anyone who wants to get killed, anytime.
All right, definitely. Sign up in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, if no one has any other questions, I think I will turn it over. Jay, do you want to say a few things?
I do, actually. I want to say, first of all, you guys talked about a little bit about how we rely on this network of people and their talents. And it's not like we all live in New York City, right? We got representation today in California, in Western Canada, New Jersey, Brooklyn, all over the country, Northern California. And so that's really huge. I think through these satellites, we can really grow our network of professionals, of writers, producers, directors, actors. That's really big. I think tonight was all about just showing people the app. So I apologize for the sound, but if you guys want to really dig into the sound, download the app. It's free. It's 30 days, free trial. And then best of all, I want to give a shout to our fallen. Clyde Baldo was mentioned earlier. I know a lot of folks knew Clyde. I also want to, of course, give a shout out to my boy, Tony White. Today would have been his 48th birthday. He was my production partner. None of this happens without the tragedy that is the passing of Tony White. IFT means it's for Tony, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just indie film theater. We love him, we miss him, and today was a rough day because it was his birthday. Normally tonight we'd be out celebrating and doing the bourbon thing and just giving him love because it would have been his birthday. And I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight, of course, and especially to Jonathan, Olivia, thank you so much. And Jen, you're my rock star. Thank you so much.
You're the best. Thank you.